Welcome back. Another edition of Talking Ball. We've got the Duke UCF preview. And with JD, this is the first preview for a Duke game we've done in about 5 months, 6 months, somewhere in that range. It's been
Would
a
have
long
been in
time.
April,
Yeah.
beginning of April. So May, June, July, August, September, 6 months.
6 months. We've got, countdown craziness is fun. That's the start of the season, the unofficial start. But these exhibition games, to me, is when we really get excited. We actually get to see Duke against another team, and I'm ready to get going.
I look, you know that this is my favorite time of year, and I'm looking forward to being what I love to be, a Duke fan. So unabashedly, dressed with my scarf, my hat, completely biased, Duke fan.
So I think what's fun about this first exhibition, they did it. They started doing it last year as more of a conscious effort. It's a brotherhood run game. So we've got Coach Johnny Dawkins with UCF, and we're gonna learn. Well, I'll break down what we know about this UCF team in a few minutes, but I want to start with Johnny Dawkins because obviously I can't talk about watching Johnny Dawkins playing, but you can. So what was he
I
like
can.
as a player?
He was phenomenal. And the thing that you always have to remember about Johnny Dawkins was he is the reason Duke became Duke. It was, when he first got there his freshman year, he averaged 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, but their record was 11-17. And so, by the way, freshman Jay Billis was on that team as well. By sophomore year, he's joined by Harvard coach Tommy Amaker, and their backcourt was electric when they got to play together. It would take them not their junior year, but it would take them to their senior year when they finally reached the finals in the March Madness, and that's 85-86. And they lose by 3 points, Louisville, with never nervous Purvis Ellison. And that would be Denny Crum. But that truly, it was Johnny Dawkins coming to Duke, led to Tommy Amaker joining him, and that's senior. Danny Ferry comes in, Quinn Snyder, another coach, comes in. This is really an exciting and the beginning of the Coach K era.
Yes, and the only reason I know about Johnny Dawkins' impact on Duke is because of how many times Jay Billis has said on games he's called how much of an impact Johnny Dawkins had on the program and how it became the way it is today. He was the one of the first big recruits to come to Duke at that time.
So I'll just add one piece of. I spent a year at Harvard 2 years ago, and had the opportunity to sit with Tommy Amaker, coach of Harvard, for 2 hours and talk to him about playing backcourt with Johnny Dawkins. And I said, probably my favorite tandem in the backcourt to this day. They were exciting. They turned the whole program into what it is today.
So before I jump into this UCF team, because there's a lot of new faces over there, basically all new faces. I want to ask you this. I want to put you on the spot. So Duke has two exhibition games this year. They are UCF and Tennessee. Who were Duke's two opponents in exhibition games last year? And for those of you who are watching and listening, drop in the comments below who were the two opponents that Duke played in exhibition games last year. And I'll tell you honestly, I only remembered one of the two.
And it wasn't UCF,
Correct.
UFC, right? So
UCF.
um,
UFC is the fighting organization.
uh, who did they boy, I can remember getting psych for it, but no, not going to waste our time.
Okay, so the first one, which I didn't remember, was Lincoln, Pennsylvania, Division II school. And the second one was also a Brotherhood run game against Arizona State. And
Ah,
they won those two games by a combined 107 points, and they scored 210 points combined in those two games. I'm not expecting that to happen, but it was just fun looking back on to see the level of dominance that they had in those games. And I'm curious how it's going to look this year because it's there's some returning players for Duke, but it's really a new team and a lot of new roles for guys. But for UCF, there are basically no returners in terms of guys who played last year. And when you look at their roster, it's a lot of guys who I'm not sure are going to be getting who's going to be playing. But from reading some articles, I do think Themis Folks and Jamichael Stillwell, two guys who come in from Milwaukee, where they played. Okay.
please remember to subscribe to our channel and like us. It helps us to grow, and we can't let it happen that we don't say that until the end. So we had to remember to bring it up. It occurred to me, which is unusual that it's me that remembers something. So sorry, go back to breaking it down.
No, good timeout there. Good timeout. Good to get that in. So Stillwell and Folks, I expect to play. Riley Kugel is a somewhat big-time transfer. Spent 3 years in the SEC, first two with Florida, then last year at Mississippi State. John Bull, I'll talk about in a little bit. 7'2", former McDonald's All-American. Didn't play much last year at Ole Miss. Do expect him to play for UCF. Devin Cambridge is on his 7th year in college. Jordan Burks is on his 3rd school. 6'9" forward. Carmelo Pacheco is their best shooter. I don't think it's a very good shooting team as a whole, but Carmelo Pacheco is a really good shooter. Over 40% last year. Was on Mount St. Mary's, the team that Duke beat in the first round of last year's NCAA tournament, but was injured, so did not play in that game. But on John Bull, he had a very, very cool quote, I thought, when I was looking at the preview for this game. He said, quote, "I'm trying to get all the Big 12 defensive team. For a 7'2" guy, that makes sense. And I'm trying to help lead this team to the NCAA tournament. The last time we did that, it was Taco Fall time. But I'm trying to do it in John Bull time." And
There
I thought
we go.
that's a great
There
quote.
we go.
And
Great quote.
For a guy who didn't start playing basketball until he was 16 years old, I think it's going to be interesting to see how he develops for UCF. And it'll be good test for Duke to go up against a guy who is 7'2". There's a lot of size on this UCF team. Themis Folks is 6'2", but outside of that, everyone who's going to play is at least 6'4". And so I think it'll be a good test for Duke in terms of going up against size and physicality, some older players for this UCF roster.
I will say that you clearly know the roster better than I do. For a preseason game, I can't say that I spent a lot of time looking at who we're playing. I'm just excited to see our guys out there.
Speaking of our guys, I've got some questions for this game for Duke, but I don't want to, step on any thoughts that you have because typically, you're our 3 keys. So I'm going to leave the floor to you. What are your 3 keys for this exhibition game, which, I will say it can't be easy to come up with 3 keys for the first exhibition game.
Well, actually, there's a lot to watch for. So and I'm going to start with where it started last year, and I was thinking about this when you were talking about the preseason games, which is the point guard role is Caleb Foster's to lose, and there's someone sitting on that bench absolutely ready to take over at point guard, and that's Caden Boozer. And what will Caleb Foster be like? Will he be the guy in control steady, as opposed to last year when we were begging for Sion James to take over the starting point guard role. So for me, that's one key that I'm going to look for, the balance of time. Obviously, Caden's going to get playing time and minutes, but I'm going to look at the minutes for Caleb. So that's one. Two is Patrick Gangba. His minutes are going to be much longer. They're going to need him, especially with an injured Malik Brown. And therefore, playing a lot longer than he did last year, what is he going to be like? I think he's got all the skills to be a very, very good big man. He can roll to the basket. He can play defense. And he's so that's number two. Number two for me is watching that. And then the third one is I guess it's Nicholas Kumeni, who is a 5-star that'll
Hemenia. We gotta get that one right.
All right. So Nicholas Kumenia.
No. Hemenia. No K. K silent.
Okay. All right. Humania. Might as well try to pronounce it correctly at the beginning. All right.
We're in the exhibitions. This is the time to work out, the names, all that good stuff.
And Dame Sar. So I want to be able to. Okay.
Dame.
All right. Dame Sar. Yep. So the question is for me, who is likely to be the let's say, other forward, because if Gangba's at center, then, and he's not a key to the game, he is the game, and that's Cameron Boozer.
Right.
All 6'9", 250 pounds of him. So it's Caleb Foster and Caden Boozer at point. It's Isaiah Evans or Darren Harris. And I think right now it's interchangeable in terms of who's hot. And then it's Nicholas Humenia, and Dame Sar. I don't know it'll be, again, a little bit of a look until we determine. Cameron's got the power forward / center role. When you've got to let Gangba go to the bench, they're going to have to move Boozer over to center, and it's 6'9", 250. Certainly in this exhibition game, no problem.
Yeah. So a few things you said. I think going back to Foster, Caden Boozer. To me, coming into this game, one of the things I was curious about is who starts. Because I think there's 3 guys that I'm like 100% confident are going to start. Evans, Cameron Boozer, and Patrick Gangba. Then I think Caleb Foster is going to start based off of what we've seen over the summer. But I can't get to 100% because of, Caden Boozer's a really good player. I don't know how much this means, but they said he led Duke in assists during practices over the summer. I don't know how much we should really take away from that, but that's what they said. And then to me, really because I think Caleb Foster starts. So who's the 5th starter is where I really don't know. And as you mentioned, it could be Nick Hamenia. It could be Dame Sar. And I think there's a world where it's Darren Harris, and you play Harris and Evans together, and you just have 2 lethal shooters on the court for you. And I think there's going to be – I don't know so much that it matters who starts, especially in this exhibition game. I think Shire is going to look at different lineups. Another thing I want to say in terms of bringing up minutes is that I agree with you that Cameron Boozer is going to spend some time, certainly with Malik Brown out. And that's a question I have is Malik going to play in this exhibition game? I haven't heard anything one way or another. But assuming Malik is not playing, with Cameron Boozer probably playing some minutes at center, I think it opens the door for Sebastian Wilkins to get a little bit more time playing the power forward spot. And I thought he looked good in Countdown to Craziness. He had some good moments in the clips we saw over the summer, which I think is just a positive sign for this Duke team. Wait a second. Is that Mac?
That's one of our new Duke fans. We should introduce him. Mac, do you want to come up here for a second and say hello? Mac, the newest member of the Duke family.
Should we go check on them?
He smells great.
Yeah.
All right, come here, you. Say hello. God, when you don't want to come, what are you doing in here? It's only a preseason game. Come on up. Come on up. It's okay. Latest member. This is Mac. And apparently we're going to see his brother, PJ, at some point, who will be there for every Duke game. So Mac is ready and psyched for the Duke season. You want to go down? You want to go down, buddy? Okay. All right. Think back to the. All right. So I think we've got it pretty much. I would only say that it really, after what happened last year, Foster's definitely going to start. I think Isaiah definitely starts. Cameron definitely starts. Gangba definitely starts. And I think it's Nick Humeni. So that's my 5.
Okay. I'm the only switch I have is I got Dame Sar over Himenia. I think Dame Sar's defense he's one of the better defenders on this team, and we know that's where Shire prioritizes offense versus defense. He gives the guys who play defense the minutes over the guys offensively. But the one thing I want to say is I'm excited for a full game of Cameron Boozer. I know it's not an official game, but I just want to see what it looks like in a Duke uniform for the real first time, because I do think he is, maybe this may sound crazy, but I think with the hype behind like AJ DeBonta and Darren Peterson, he's a little bit under the radar in terms of where I would expect the top 5 recruit going to Duke to be in terms of like national headlines and storylines. And he did not get the preseason ACC Player of the Year. That went to Darian Williams. Maybe I think that's his name. The forward who transferred from Texas Tech to NC State. So I'm curious how Cameron Boozer. I'm excited more than anything to watch a full Cameron Boozer game. And then on Gangba, as you said, he's gonna have to play a lot more minutes. He does look like he's in better shape. I saw a picture of him last year. Someone put up a picture of him this year. He looks like he's dropped 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds. He just looks slimmer. And that, in fairness to him, last year he came into the season injured with a foot injury. Yeah. So I think that makes a big difference for him coming into this year. The big thing for me is, will him being in better shape help him defensively, where he's not as versatile like last year? Malawach, they could play in really any scheme. With Gangba, they have to be a little bit more selective. And can he stay out of foul trouble? That's really what I'm looking for Gangba, because offensively, I have no questions. That guy is so talented offensively. It's going to be a joy to watch him play more minutes this year.
Well, and compared to Malawach, whose footwork used to just amaze us for his height, and that was probably all of his soccer playing. But I on offense, I'm with you. Gangba has terrific rolls to the basket when he gets the ball. So I'm pretty excited to watch him there. But now that he has a lot of pressure because of additional minutes, and that's only until we're certain that Malik Brown is back. I mean, there's clearly he doesn't have, if Malik is healthy and playing, then he can get plenty of time on the bench.
Knock on wood. Big knock on wood there, because Malik Brown, for somebody who averaged 2.5 points a game, is one of the more important players in college basketball.
Oh, in my age, he's like the Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
LT, because a defensive player that could so disrupt the game as to potentially be the factor that caused them to win, and creating that whole new data point of deflections. They may have counted them, but sure enough, we were way ahead of the announcers when they started saying, you know what this guy's averaging in terms of just deflections? And it's incredible, his knack to get to the ball in defense. So we're certainly hoping that he is healthy for the whole season. Look, for a preseason script, game like this, don't use him unless he's healthy.
Right. Agreed. So I guess we got to get to our final segment here, which is score predictions. As we always do, make sure to drop in the comments your score predictions. We're also going to put up clips from this on TikTok and Instagram, so follow us there. You want to go first? You want me to go first? I got mine written down.
I'm just going to go with it. It's not going to be massive. It's going to be like 85-55.
85-50. That's pretty big.
Yeah, but not 100 and something versus, a 50-point spread. So I think it's 30, maybe even 25, maybe 85-60. Because I think there's a lot that John Shire wants to take this opportunity to learn about his team.
Yeah, I agree. So which one are you? What's your final answer?
I don't know how much scoring. I'll stay with the 85-55.
Okay. I went with 88-71. I'm not sure, but I think this is exactly why I did that. When you look at last year's team, I'm not expecting Malik Brown to play. I think, therefore, the 6 best defenders from last year's team won't be available. So I think we give up more points. But I think offensively, they'll still be pretty good. And I wonder if we're shortchanging them here, still in the 80s. But, well, I would be very happy if they end up somewhere in the 90s. And this ends up a 20-point win for Duke. But I think they win comfortably, especially once we get to the second half.
Jack, for those listening to us still at this point, what time is the game on Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. So we'll be live immediately after, somewhere around 9 o'clock, 9:15, recapping all the action from Duke UCF. Make sure to join us then. You can message us in the chat. We'll be talking with you for as long as we can immediately after that game. Until then, guys, go Duke.
Go
Peace.
Duke.